Howdy, howdy. Hi, guys. Yeah, I just retweeted my own tweet. Hi, you guys. Welcome. Oh, I see somebody said Kate made it on QMAP. So today I was getting a bunch of people saying, you got queued, you got queued. So what happened was, I did not get queued. What happened was, I'm just lightning fast. I Q posted and it was a Laura Ingraham tweet, and then there was a photo accompanying it, and I just took that photo and posted it under Laura's tweet, and I was super quick. So I think a lot of people saw that and thought that somehow I had been queued, but alas, I was not queued. It was just that I was super quick in getting that on there. But I appreciated all the congratulations and was very excited for a brief second, but I also, as soon as I saw that, I was kind of like, no, because I hadn't tweeted anything that wasn't already posted by Q in a while. So I kind of figured that that was not for real. Anyway, if that's what you're talking about, I assume that's what you're talking about. And hi. So I am going to go over, you guys know that Q has been dropping like crazy, and no, I'm not going to sing for you. And so basically the majority of what I have tonight are Q drops, and you know, Q always posts articles as well. So I have a ton of links for you guys, and it'll kind of be as normal. But instead of reading articles, my mom yelled at me the other day. She's like, Rush Limbaugh says you don't read to people. So, oh, and because I had my friend Alara here this weekend, and she does Pink Patriot Hour on 1 Foot in 5D. If you guys aren't already following that, go do that. She helped me figure out a bunch of stuff with the technical side. So as soon as I get a business Zoom account, which I'm planning to do probably in the next couple of days, then I will be able to do live interviews, and I will be able to share my screen. So you just won't be staring at my mug the entire time. I'll be able to actually show you what I'm reading and show you images and stuff like that, which I feel like is going to make a huge difference in this. So that's good news, right? Right? Okay. So I'm going to kind of hop around here with these Q drops because I'm not going to read all of them. Obviously, there's way too much. And I just kind of selected the ones that I thought were the most interesting. So Q4118 is the first one that we're starting with. I use qmap.pub. I think I forgot to put that link below, but it is literally just qmap.pub. If you want to go there and follow along, qmap.pub uses titles that are not from Q. It is the people that run qmap.pub that will kind of summarize the Q drop into a title. So it makes it, it's nice, but it also, I know a lot of people get confused sometimes and don't know if that is from Q themselves, but no, they're not. So anyway, DNI to Schiff, the transcripts are ready to release. So this was obviously from the other day. We've had developments since then. They've started to be released, but this is from a Washington Examiner article. House Intelligence Committee conducted 53 secret interviews during its Trump-Russia investigation. I'm just kind of taking some bullet points from here. Acting Director of National Intelligence, Richard Grenell, has sent a letter to Chairman Adam Schiff notifying him that transcripts of all 53 interviews, over 6,000 pages in all, have been cleared for public release. So some of the people that they interviewed were Donald Trump Jr., Steve Bannon, Andrew McCabe, Sally Yates, Michael Cohen, and Hope Hicks. So on September 26, 2018, the committee voted unanimously, so it was a bipartisan vote to release the transcripts, but there was a catch. The documents would have to first be checked for classified information by the Intelligence Committee. So off to the IC they went, never to be seen again. In the letter, Grenell revealed that the 43 transcripts have been finished since June 2019. Schiff has been sitting on them that entire time. Grenell said that the final 10 have just been finished as well. So then in this Q drop, then Q says, quote, sorry, Adam, but the game is over now. It doesn't end here. Locked on target. It takes time to remove/install the right people, brackets, sleepers. We are ready. Q. a the what? Where was I? Who am I? Where am I? I felt like Joe Biden for a second. Look, every time he says something, every time he gets caught or he says something particularly stupid or completely outlandish, his next phrase is always, look. I'll just start doing that. So next we have 4121. This was, Q posted a clip from this movie called The Day the Earth Stood Still, and I had never seen this movie before, so I actually watched it this past week, and it was pretty good. I liked it, but it was really interesting. So the clip that Q showed us, it's basically Keanu Reeves, which he's in like all the good movies. Keanu Reeves is an alien from outer space that drops here, and basically he is tasked with ridding the planet of human beings to save the earth. Okay, so in it he's having a conversation in this clip with obviously a couple earth humans who are trying to get him to, you know, change his mind and save the people. And so he says, you lack the will to change. And the man says, then help us change. And he says, oh, I didn't write that down. But basically he's, you know, he says no. And then the guy says, you know, basically I think what happened was on his planet, something happened, and Keanu Reeves' planet once upon a time was threatened, and they survived it. And so the guy was saying, you know, basically you guys survived it. And he says, so it was only when you were threatened with destruction that you became what you are now. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right, but it's only on the brink when people find the will to change. Only on the precipice do we evolve. So this is the meaning that I took from that, because Q has also been saying a lot that sometimes you can't tell the people, you have to show them. And I know I've mentioned before that this lockdown, a lot of the things that are happening that a lot of people are getting impatient with or feeling irritated that certain DS people are able to, you know, have any kind of action whatsoever. These people are actually doing a massive job at waking up the rest of the population that Q hasn't reached yet, or that other avenues haven't reached yet. And particularly with this lockdown that is happening worldwide, you are now reaching the people's lives personally. And there is no better way to activate a human being and get them to really wake up and stand their ground than to affect them personally. So it's not only that it's affecting them personally, but they are seeing some of these things massively with their own eyes, and that will change people. Once this isn't, we might get into this later. I can't remember if I put this in my notes or not, but they just announced today that California is talking about another 3 months of this lockdown. That's the kind of thing that we're talking about here, in that some of these people are like, okay, this is crazy now. This is going to ruin our lives. This is no longer like, okay, we're going to sit around and be patient and for the sake of whatever, even if we're not seeing it. A lot of people were just sitting there, I mean, myself included, when this whole thing started at first. I was like, well, whatever, we'll just stay in our homes, better safe than sorry, blah, blah, blah. But it's getting to the point now where it's very clear that they are messing with us massively. Anyway, so that's what I took from that clip. 4135, California wants to quarantine people with CV-19 plus contacts, even removing them from homes. So this was a video, a link to a tweet with a video. And they're basically talking about, if you've come into contact, or if you have symptoms yourself, if you've come into contact with somebody that has CV, that they can force you into quarantine and even remove you from your home. One of the things they were saying in this is, if you only have one bathroom in your home and you have somebody in your home that is has tested positive, then they're saying that your home is no longer fit for somebody to self-quarantine because you have to share a bathroom with them, so they will remove them. So this is another thing. It's like, it's getting to the point now where we can't just sit by and watch this happen. 4137. Gosh, I hate this. My thing locks up and I get worried that it's locked. Yeah, but watch that video. It's nuts. You'll want to throw your computer or your phone out the window. 4137. Russia and China both using HCQ to treat CV-19. I'm being kind of careful with my words, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about with my initials. Q links Moscow Times article, and in it they're talking about how Russia is using HCQ to treat CV. So Q says Russia using HCQ to treat CV-19 question mark. Source of HCQ, China, that's where it's manufactured. China using HCQ to treat CV-19 question mark. The more you know. 4156, California governor signs order to send mail-in ballots to all registered voters for the November election. November, you guys. Is that how long they're planning on keeping us locked in our homes for? CV-19 hard push brackets lockdown extend. In swing states, California and New York lead. You know, they're leading the way for this. D control, Democrat controlled. Is this about the virus or the election? Legal challenge coming? Question mark. Q. 4164. The C. Y'all know. Come on. We're playing charades here now. The C blank A is the shadow government trying to regain control by getting its assets into Congress. So Q says, what farm-born assets elected to Congress? What farm-born assets are attempting to get elected to Congress? What is the primary party to which they serve? D, Democrats. Something I want to touch on here because it's an important point. Obviously, Q is a bipartisan thing. The more we learn now, even no matter where your politics align, the more we learn, the more we're finding out that both parties have been corrupt. In my opinion, the reason that the Democrat Party has been used the most, let's say, by the DS, is because the Democrat Party is the party of more power to the government. So it makes sense that that is the avenue that they would push more and have more of their people in, and that would be where they would be getting more people to vote these people into place. So anyway, how do you control your own budget? How do you control agency regulations? How do you control your own destiny? Q links a C. we'll do, was that right? Wait, we'll do sign language. .gov, news information, featured story archive. Wait, what is this? Oh, it's about HW when he was the 11th director of the, wait, I'm really good at that. It says loss of control, define shadow government. Well, shadow government are the people that are really pulling the strings, the ones that really have the power behind the scenes. When we feel like we've elected the people into place that have the power, it really is not so. 4169, Schumer, New York Democrat, vote by mail, quote, will be a very important part of the next coronavirus bill. This is a Breitbart article, and Q asks us yet again, is this about the virus or the election? 4170, Hillary Clinton hopes other governors will follow California lead with vote by mail. They are really pushing this, you guys. This is a tweet from her. She says, I hope other governors around the country follow Gavin Newsom's lead. No voter should be forced to choose between their safety and exercising their civic duty this fall. Their safety, right? Q says, is this about the virus or the election? Do you think that Hillary Clinton has your well-being at heart, and this is why she is just, she's tweeting this for you, you guys. She stays up late at night and can't get to bed because she's so concerned about your well-being. I'm just gonna stop in and say hi to the chat really fast. Hi, you guys. I have FOMO when I have my chat covered. So I was like, go check it out. 4171, how is it possible the source country of the virus, minus, we'll call it Wu, was on lockdown for only 16 days? So I'll explain that better. Origin country of CV-19, China. Origin city of CV19, Wu. How long was Wu on lockdown? That was 76 days. How long was the remainder of China on lockdown? So this says CNY, Chinese New Year, I'm assuming, extend January 24th to February 9th. So it says average 16 days. So the remainder of China was on lockdown for an average of 16 days. Then there's an article here, China extends Lunar New Year holiday. Okay, so that's right. Shanghai, so that's just talking about how they extended that. How long has the US been on lockdown? A couple months now. No spread of CV19 outside of Wu. How is it possible the source country of the virus, minus the city of origin, was on lockdown for only 16 days? And they are bending their curve. How long has the U.S. been on lockdown? Forecasted lockdown for California, New York, Oregon, Michigan. Well, they are still no end in sight, let's say. Reconcile, logical thinking. Why is our country being locked down for a longer period of time than the country of origin? Why would our country be at a higher risk for the infection than the country of origin? 4172. D's time delivery of impeachment articles to draw attention away from first U.S. CV infection. So this is really interesting. I have these articles below, and I just want to keep in mind, I have next to them. These are things that happened in the past, but these are all things that happened on January 15th. These three things all took place on the same day. So I don't want you to get you confused when you look at my links and you see these articles or whatever, that this is current news. These are obviously from the past, but Fox Business article is one of them. U.S.-China signs historic phase 1 trade deal. Okay, so that happened January 15th. Q says dates are important. January 15th, 2020. Historic trade deal with China signed. China loses billions in clawback. Held timed impeachment articles are delivered to the Senate. That also happened on January 15th, which I put below. First case of CV19 lands in the United States. So this is also interesting. The article I linked below, again, also I just want to mention too that the articles that I link below, other than the Fox Business article about the trade deal, the other two are just ones I found myself. Q did not link those. I just wanted to mention that. They're just ones I found myself just to back it up. We'd like to back it up here. Seattle, so from the article, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport on January 19th, 2020, a 35-year-old man presented to urgent care clinic in Snohomish County, Washington, with a four-day history of cough and subjective fever. So it's the 19th, 4-day history, that puts us on the 15th. He disclosed that he had returned to Washington State on January 15th. Oh, there we go. After traveling to visit a family in Wu, China. Do the Chinese like losing? This is Q again. Do the Chinese want POTUS removed/replaced presidential election 2020? Do the Chinese want Biden installed presidential election 2020? Is this about the virus or the election? 4181, Obama's propaganda and lies regarding Flynn. So this is a Jonathan Turley tweet that also has an article linked to it, I believe. President Obama is being quoted on Flynn saying, "There is no precedent that anybody can find for someone who has been charged with perjury just getting off scot-free." It's a curious statement. He says, that Jonathan says, first and foremost, Flynn was not charged with perjury. Wasn't Obama an attorney? Why does he not know this? Also, I think out of order because I couldn't find it and I just wanted to throw it in, I also put an article that has the actual audio from Obama saying this because I wasn't sure if that was in the article that Q posted. I didn't see it. Some things don't load for me in these articles. Anyway, I wanted to put that in there because this does not sound like Obama to me. To me, this sounds like an SNL impression of Obama, like somebody doing an impression of Obama. I don't know, it's weird. But it's supposedly him. 4195, the Obama people got caught this week and it looks like it goes straight to the top. This is a Waters World clip and you know, where they're basically, we're starting to see these things that we've known and talked about eking out into the mainstream media, and they are very boldly saying some of the things that we've been saying for a while, like that Obama was involved. What did Obama, you know, what did Obama know, and when did he know it? And even what did he do, and when did he do it, truthfully, because we know that, you know, we've had the text messages from Lisa Page and Peter Strzok where she's saying POTUS wants to be, you know, clued in on what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. We know he knew. It also sounds like he was more involved than what they were trying to tell us originally. 4200, recent transcript releases confirmed DS was using video game chat. So remember the Palpatine's Revenge chat that Q had posted? And we went over that. So these are code names being used, and et cetera, et cetera. So Q links a Technofrog tweet that says, developing, the initial Flynn Kislyak leak was not to David Ignatius. It was to WAPO reporter Adam Entous. It says the leak came directly from, quote, sources who saw a transcript and described it to Entous. So Q says, proof, game chat logs, discussions legitimate. It sounds like it. Sourced from closed door transcripts. So in the transcript from that Palpatine's Revenge thing, from May 17th, there's a quote from one of the code names that says, didn't AEWP, which Anons had put together quite quickly after that. They were like, okay, AEWP, okay, WP could be Washington Post. Let's find any reporters that work for the Washington Post that have initials that are AE. And they found this Adam Entous. There was one other as well. So didn't AEWP mention it when we gave him that tape? And then somebody underneath that goes on to say something about one of their other, quote, carrier pigeons. So if they are using reporters to, using them basically to leak information, that, you know, carrier pigeon would be a correct term. That would make a lot of sense. So that, yeah, that's very interesting. So it seems like those article, or that chat log is legitimate. There's an article here, Obama, this is a Federalist article by Molly Hemingway. Obama-Biden Oval Office meeting on January 5th was key to the entire anti-Trump operation. And that's where this comes from, the quote about the leak was being deployed to Washington Post, Adam Entous. So we now, I believe, have confirmation that it was Adam Entous and not the other AE person that was being floated around. 4202, ex-Trump security aide Ezra Cohen Watnick, who left in controversy, rejoins Pentagon. This is a Q proof, because Q linked a photo of them posting in September of 2018 the name Ezra Cohen Watnick. That's where we got eyes on this, and now we're seeing this Bloomberg article, ex-Trump security aide who left controversy rejoins Pentagon. So from that article, Ezra Cohen, a former intelligence aide to President Donald Trump, who left the White House amid controversy in 2017, is returning to the administration as a top official at the Defense Department. Cohen has been named Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counter Narcotics and Global Threats. Q says it's like having all the pieces of the puzzle, but only after brackets news unlocks can the puzzle full picture be put together. That's the fun stuff, guys. We love that. Okay, 4203. Durham moving, quote, full throttle on Russia probe review. Top federal prosecutors involved. Q links a Fox News article and says, keywords are fun for the whole family. So in this article, it says, quote, they farmed the investigation out because it's too much for Durham and he didn't want to be distracted, one of the sources told Fox News. Also, quote, he's going full throttle and they're looking at everything, the source told Fox News. Breadcrumbs were being dropped in the days preceding the decision that this case could be reconsidered. So a couple key words that we have from Q breadcrumbs, obviously one of them, and farm. We have a lot of farm communications running back and forth with a lot of these people, both DS and white hats. You know, I like to point out there are a lot of corn comms and et cetera, et cetera. So what does farmed mean? Well, this is something that I think that when they're saying farmed, it could just mean the in general. But I found this. Okay, so Camp Peary is an approximately 9,000 acre U.S. military reservation in York County near Williamsburg, Virginia, officially referred to as an armed forces experimental training activity. Under the authority of the Department of Defense, Camp Peary hosts a covert training facility known as the Farm, which is used to train officers of the Directorate of Operations, as well as those of the DIA's Defense Clandestine Service, among other intelligence entities. Camp Peary has a sister facility called The Point in North Carolina. So it could be a blanketed term, but basically these are, you know, the clandestine operations that are, and it's a training facility. So this kind of links back to the drop that we talked about earlier about who of these assets came from the farm. There's actually a Q post too that I didn't link where it's talking about the media assets, and it says number one, or it's got, I think, 13 brackets, and in the first one it says Anderson Cooper, and we know that he interned at this 3-letter agency, so he says, for a couple summers or whatever. And so he's in the first one, and then the rest are blank. So we'll find out, I guess. But we know from the church committee hearings in the 60s what the relationship is between the media and that 3-letter agency, even though the official narrative was that, oh no, we stopped doing that once we got caught. So what other kinds of operations are they running? We know it infiltrated the media. So that could be part of the farm communications that we see online. Earlier, Q brought attention to drop 41, to this that I'm about to read, and this is from 4162. It says, think leak investigation, think Horowitz mid-year regarding FBI media assets. It says, quote, we identified numerous FBI employees at all levels of the organization and with no official reason to be in contact with the media, who were nevertheless in frequent contact with reporters. Some of those media contacts were social in nature too, including drinks and meals after work, going to sporting events, and playing golf. So there's this relationship here between the FBI and the media. And Q says, think WLHRC Podesta, think WikiLeaks HRC Podesta media assets list. That's an actual list that's in the Podesta emails on WikiLeaks. Says, always use the same contacts. MSM assets complicit, question mark, knowingly. So are these people more than just being used? Are these people potentially in some serious trouble as well? 4204, hashtag Obamagate is the top hashtag on Twitter politics. So Q posts a photo showing Obamagate trending at 3.43 million tweets. And Q says, patriotism is on the rise. People needed a, quote, spark to reignite the engine. So I've linked below a tweet from Lisa Mae Crowley where she's showing a graphic that an anon put together. And essentially what happened was an anon on the board was said, hey, Q, can you tell Q plus, President Trump, to tweet out Obamagate? And 2 hours and 7 minutes later, Trump does exactly that. And then also in the graphic, Q comes back and confirms that POTUS did it for the anons. So we could call that a potential Q proof. 4206, panic in DC. Nearly 2,000 former DOJ officials call for AG Barr to resign over Flynn case. Q says, he links to an ABC tweet about it, and then he says, panic in DC. Now we've got a list of nearly 2,000 of these people that seem like they don't like the good guys winning. 4209, Q links to a constitution.congress.gov article. And basically, I'll just read it to you. Senators and representatives, this is the title of the Q from qmap.pub. Senators and representatives can be arrested for criminal offenses. This is something that's been kind of floating around, theories, people talking about, can the representatives be arrested while they are in session, or do we need a break? Because a lot of people think, you know, when these people are on break, they get a little bit more hopeful, thinking this is the only time that they can be arrested. So from this article, it says, the senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in either place. But it says underneath that, this clause is practically obsolete. It applies only to arrests in civil suits, which were still common in this country at the time of that the Constitution was adopted. It does not apply to service of process in either civil or criminal cases, nor does it apply to arrest in any criminal case. The phrase treason, felony, or breach of peace is interpreted to withdraw all criminal offenses from the operation of the privilege. So basically what I get from this is that they can be arrested at any time. Acting DNI Richard Grinnell declassifies lists of Obama officials who unmasked Flynn. U.S. officials have been declassified a list of Obama officials who were involved in unmasking Flynn. This is a Daily Wire article. The list has already been declassified, but it is now up to William Barr to release that list, so it's not public yet. The disclosing of Flynn's identity could be a, quote, a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. In an interview last week, Barr said that the charges against Flynn were dropped because the FBI, which was under the leadership of then Director James Comey, were not conducting a legitimate law enforcement investigation. This is a quote from Barr. A crime cannot be established here because there was not, in our view, a legitimate investigation going on. They did not have a basis for a counterintelligence investigation against Flynn at that stage, based on a perfectly legitimate and appropriate call he made as a member of the transition. When asked if the Obama administration set a trap for Flynn, Barr responded, yes, essentially. They had started a counterintelligence investigation during the summer, as you know, related to the campaign. But in December, the Crossfire Hurricane team, was closing that and determined that they had found nothing to justify continuing with that investigation against Flynn. These people wanted Flynn out. Remember, Flynn was kind of forced out by Obama. He was, as far as I know, his position was one of the most powerful in military intelligence. So he would have had access and he would have been able to see these FISA abuses and the things that were going on. So it's no wonder that they wanted him out so desperately. He was a threat to them. 4215, Trey Gowdy grills Comey, who has the power to unmask a U.S. citizen, captured communications. So this is a video, and it, Trey Gowdy, love him, is basically asking Comey who has the ability to unmask U.S. citizens. And he specifically asks about these particular people, and basically the answer to all of these people from Comey is yes. He brings up Director Brennan, Susan Rice, Ben Rhodes, Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, and he asked, did you brief Obama on any calls involving Michael Flynn? 4216, Q lets us know they have officially retained lawyers. I saw this last night. I can't remember if it was on Hannity or Laura Ingraham, whatever. It was one of the Fox News shows. And this was interesting. Q links, he says that, they have these people know what's coming towards them, I guess. At this point, they're no longer guessing. They know. They have retained lawyers. Q links to a vault.com website, and it says best law firms by region, and it's the DC area. And at first when I saw this, I was like, is this Q trying to get anons to apply for jobs in these law firms, that would be kind of funny. But anyway, I'm not really sure why they linked the vault.com. Maybe one of you guys knows. 4219, this is our last Q drop that I was going to go over. California extends stay-at-home orders for 3 more months. And this was the Breaking 911 tweet announcing that people used as pawns in their attempt to seek a taxpayer-funded bailout for mismanaged funds, question mark. Then Q links an OC Register article. It says California massive debt should caution against big spending. It's from January 2019, and it basically says that California's state and local debts topped 1.5 trillion as of June 30th, 2017, according to analysis by the California Policy Center. Q says, people used as pawns in their attempt to provide cover for vote by mail. Is this about the virus or the election? Is this about the virus or a state bailout? They're making good money from this, don't forget. Removal of civil liberties, question mark. Removal of constitutional rights, question mark. Welcome to the D Party. Dormant people accept what they are told. DOJ intervention coming, question mark, from Q. So I think it sounds to me, Q keeps making more, I think they're trying to activate us more. They're trying to get us more involved. Spreading this information, I don't know, going to peaceful demonstrations, writing to your, I don't know. You know a lot of peaceful ways that we can be standing up for ourselves right now. And it feels to me like Q is advocating for that more. Whereas once upon a time, maybe there was more of the feeling of, you know, the sit back and watch, enjoy the show, blah, blah, blah. It sounds more like, I mean, they're literally saying, are you ready to stand up? So it's kind of exciting because it kind of feels right. It kind of feels like it wouldn't have felt right if they just came in and were our saviors and we didn't do anything for ourselves. I think it is important for us to have a hand in taking back our freedoms. So the last 2 links I have, one of them is a video that Q actually did link, but I didn't go over the Q post, where it's a doctor speaking out about what's going on with CV and what's going on with the official narrative and what these doctors that are on TV are telling us versus what the doctors in the hospitals are seeing and believe in and all of that. And he talks about how never in history have we quarantined healthy people. So that's a good video to go watch. And then the last link is just to, I have posted this before, but I like to repost it every time I come across it. It is a graphic from Epic Times that they put together on FISAgate. And there's so much information. It makes it so clear. And we know that FISAgate is not over. It is only going to get more, we're only going to be seeing more of it. So it's a good thing to have on hand so that we know what we are talking about, looking at. Understand the things. Understand all the things. So that's it for all of my links, but obviously there's still stuff to talk about. The camera angle is a bit off. The picture appears out of square with you, perhaps moving the camera a bit. Other than that, great show. You are getting better each week. Thank you. I know everything's all wonky, but I don't even know how to fix that right now. In my opinion, we need to just unite no matter what. I agree. Oregon has been voting by mail for 20 years. Oops. That's why we're so effed up. 3 counties control the whole state. It's not good. Yeah, that is not good. Did anyone figure out what the other prison is being prepared for traitors? Yeah, I can tell you. I knew that. It was, I know it's in Washington State. I knew this once upon a time. Let me look. Oops, it would help if I spelled words right. Wow. I am so glad you guys can't see my spelling. So, oh, here's a list of all of them. Maybe I'll recognize it when I see it. Maybe not. I don't know, but I know it's in Washington State, if I'm answering the same question that you are asking. They put $500 million into Gitmo and a bunch more money into a prison in Washington State. They're obviously gearing up for some residents. Let's hope. In Spain, the state of alarm have been extended and it's become borderline a police state. It's the so-called far-right organized a protest caravan on the 23rd. Yeah, I mean, it's worldwide. And think about the fact that this was happening even prior to the whole lockdown worldwide. And it could have also been, you know, whether it was intentional or a happy little bonus, this is what they got from this, is that it shut down all of these protests that were going on worldwide. We saw, you know, Hong Kong and Iran and Venezuela and everywhere it was going on. And we were seeing, you know, France had the Yellow Vest movement, and we were seeing everybody basically was demonstrating against their corrupt governments. So yeah, somebody said that. Tesla right hand on the painting is the Masonic M. Prove me wrong. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. So does anyone actually believe that the Patriots are in control? Glad you asked. I do. I absolutely do. I think that the more I watch what's happening, I do. This actually coincides with a tweet that I made today. Who posted it? G Money, I guess, on Twitter, posted. It was part of the Bill Woods interview, where he talks about the chess game, and I really like the analogy of the chess. You can get to a point where the game is essentially won, but there are still moves left on the board. So just because we are seeing some of these DS characters still making moves, it doesn't mean that Patriots aren't in control. Also, go back to what Q has now said several times, sometimes you can't tell the people, you have to show them. And maybe part of showing them is to allow these people to expose themselves. Show their hand, whatever, you know, do what they're doing, whether they are under control right now or whether they are just being let out on enough leash to do this themselves. That's what it feels like to me. We've heard promises of justice so many times, I don't even get excited about it anymore. I get that, but also just keep in mind that Q has never promised you a certain date. So that's something that we've done to ourselves, and a lot of us have, you know, those feelings, but I am seeing, it's like we keep getting a first down, if I may use a football analogy. If I'm using that correctly, I have no idea. It's like we keep getting a first down. So we're not moving very far up the field, and so we're not getting that touchdown that everybody is so desperately waiting for, but we are getting first downs. That's what I'm seeing. So, and I think it has a lot to do also with who you surround yourself with and who you talk to. It can be very easy to get down on what's happening and what isn't happening if all you're really doing is paying it, or not all, but if you're still paying attention to mainstream media, if you're still talking to people that aren't really paying attention, or if you're surrounding yourself maybe with people who are paying attention but are super pessimistic. Just keep an eye on that, because it makes a huge difference who you surround yourself with. So you think there's more to the extension SIP in California, or is it just that Gene Newsom is a P word. Also major chemtrails here in NorCal for a few weeks now. You know, in Arizona, it was like a solid 3 weeks I wasn't seeing any. The skies were blue, there were big like puffy or like little puffy cumulus clouds. They were so cute and I was so happy. And then suddenly this week they're back. And our skies are full of lines and haze and it's gross. So it bums me out. Your friend was red-pilled and now he's blue-pilled again. On some level, I get that. There have been times, like if I hadn't, for example, the really dark stuff, the really stuff involving children is what has kept me in this fight. But if I didn't have that piece, and some people don't, I think there would have been times I would have just like gone back to bed. It's hard. It's not easy. I was actually just talking about this to somebody yesterday. It's so easy for these people who are snotty about Q and conspiracy theories. And I mean, it really is easy for them. It's very easy for them to look down their noses at us and without having to do any research, and they can just whatever talking point they're parroting, they can just go on Google, bloop, 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 and they can pull up 70,000 articles that are saying the exact same things that they're saying. And it doesn't matter to them that those articles might be lying. So we have to bring the facts. We have to, it's annoying, but it is strengthening us. It's kind of like the shadow banning thing on Twitter, where they are just creating these like beasts of people that are learning how to get this information out there, even though the odds are stacked against us. It's like that meme of the toddler with the ankle weights, and they're just talking about how this toddler is gonna have massive quads. Like they put ankle weights on the toddler to slow it down so that the mom can catch it easier, but then it just like makes this really buff baby. Can I drop some bars for you? I have no idea what you mean. Are you talking about music? I'm not gonna sing for you. That ain't happening. It's easier to lie to people than to convince them they have been lied to. I love that quote. It is very true. I kind of wrapped up in conspiracies for the past year, then a few months ago I distanced. I don't know where I am at. Now I don't know where I am at. Yeah, that makes sense. If I wasn't doing this YouTube and like had made it my mission, I probably would have been doing the same thing. It is very difficult to sustain this level of, keeping on top of all of the information that's coming out. Saying true things is exhausting because you get pounced on and called mean names and all of that, and being in this is very tiresome. I understand that. And I think because this is a spiritual battle, everybody's kind of getting it from all angles. There are a lot of us going through personal things too in our lives, and I don't think it'll always be like that. And so I think that those of you who have research this stuff and kind of put a bookmark in it for now, I think you'll be back. Don't put pressure on yourself that like you have to be here right now doing all of this work. It's better if we have you strong. It's better if you take care of yourself. We need you, and we will eventually need you even more. So take a break if you need to, or go back to watching TV if your heart so desires. No, I'm not going to rap for you either. I have like a tiny bit of pride. Just a little one. Just a little bit of pride. Conservatism is the new counterculture. Yeah, kinda. I remember when I got my tattoo, 2012 or something like that. it was, I got some cross looks from my friends, and, you know, my friends who are head to toe covered in tattoos of like cupcakes and unicorns. They were like, what is that? Like, yeah, I'm a rebel, whatever. I love my country. I'm a patriot. Be afraid. That's really sad, but really what I'm finding out is it really isn't so. It's just that the loudmouths of the non-patriots, let's say, had gotten so out of hand and so loud that it felt like more people were kind of hating on our country than are, I believe. Or maybe people, I mean, also people have been waking up. But we've been around. Let's make a deal. If Renegade or HRC get charged, Kate will sing for us. I literally walk around my house. I don't know if I should admit this. For the last 2 years, I have made up a song about just that. And I like, when I go to the refrigerator, I sing it, and I like am in my kitchen cleaning and doing stuff, I sing that song. I used to do this all the time with my dog too. I would like write jingles for my dog. Aw, R.I.P. I would write jingles for my dog, and I should have probably been like a jingle writer for commercials. How will Hollywood look after all this is spilled to the public? A corrupt evil. That's a very interesting question, and one that I've thought about. Maybe there are patriots in Hollywood. I know a few. There are actual like secret meetings of these patriots, not only in Hollywood, but New York too, where these people meet kind of almost like as a support group, but they have to be secretive about it, because if you are a patriot and it is known and you're in that industry, you will get blacklisted. So that's very sad. But those people do exist. There are people that are already in the industries and, you know, love our country and want the truth out. It's just not the majority, unfortunately, or it's not the majority of the people that have the full control and the people that are the ones making, you know, what is going to be the next blockbuster movie or the next big TV show or Netflix or whatever. But I kind of feel like we are going to need some kind of maybe multiple 24-hour news stations and reality shows about all of this stuff, and people are going to have to play catch up with our world history, health channels. So in that way, we will, I believe we will kind of get back to these kind of customized, you know, like now we have the History Channel, but we'll have like the Real History Channel, or we have, you know, we'll have a channel on like True Health and things like that. That would be really awesome. And I hope that people that are in those industries or can do those kinds of things are starting to kind of think in that way, think ahead, and realize that once all that stuff gets exposed, there is going to be an absolute vacuum that is going to be searching for content. People are always going to want to be entertained. People are always going to want to have information presented to them in a really beautiful, skillful way. So there might be a little bit of a lag time there where people just kind of go back to books, where they're going to be relying on YouTubers more. They're going to be relying on Twitter and, you know, whatever. But I think eventually we will get back there. Mel Gibson, yeah, I actually bought the Playboy with the Mel Gibson article in it. Just for the article, guys, I swear. And it's a really interesting article. He says some stuff in there. He definitely knew some things. I just red-pilled my sister. She's watching now with 3 small children. It's really been hard for her to take this on. How do you suggest she maintains positivity in such a dark world? That's a really great question. Well, first of all, she should look to you. I'm sure you're okay. Look to some of us that are out there that do know about this and are finding this positive outlook now. It's also something, there's something to be said about these things were happening whether we knew about them or not. So the positive take on it now is that we can do something about it. And also, this is an incredible time to be alive. That quote, may you live in interesting times. We live in probably one of the most interesting times in the history of our planet that we know about. And yes, there's a lot of sad and sickness that goes on, and there's a lot to be down about. There's a lot of dark stuff, but our human nature is to thrive through that. And we also, I believe, chose to be here during this time and chose to be warriors against these things. And that sadness in your heart that you feel through this dark stuff is your indication that you are here for that reason, that you signed up to fight this. Because if you didn't have that feeling in your heart, then you might be playing for the other side. So it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so rewarding. And at the end of the day, you will be so glad that your eyes were open and that you were there to witness and that you were there to advocate for the correct things. And that, you know, it's also really important to just find as many people as you can with that positive outlook. Because it can be lonely, but at least your sister has you. So that's already better than a lot of us had it in the beginning. What was I going to say? That just made me think of something. Oh, after I talked about my infertility stuff, whatever it was, whenever it was, a couple shows ago, I got a bunch of messages from people who wanted to talk to me about it and told me that I should, do an episode on that. I think I brought that up last time. So I think I'm going to do it. I have to decide when, but it'll be like this. It'll be an extra show. I'm not going to take over my Tuesday shows. So my Tuesday show will remain like this. But now that I have these abilities to interview people, I might add another day of the week. I have to look and see what days and times other YouTubers do their thing, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But once I figured out another night and time that I can do this, I want to start doing interviews, and I want to do kind of some more
specialized stuff where I'm not going over the current events, but we can go back and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And I feel like obviously not all of you are going to be interested in the infertility stuff, but I do have some ways that I feel like it is connected to the Great Awakening that I want to talk about. And you can also share it with people who aren't into the Great Awakening or Q or any of this stuff. We'll just kind of lightly, we won't force all of that stuff on them. But it is an important thing to talk about. It's something that I used to blog about a long time ago, and it was very healing for me, and it just makes me feel better to help other people with it. And you guys know that I'm very open with everything. So I figured, why not? We'll do that, and I'll let you guys know when that's going to be. And if you are somebody that wants a question answered or something like that, and maybe you're too shy to ask it in the chat, because I'm definitely going to do it as a live chat so that it's a discussion and not me just lecturing people. You can email me at thekateawakening@gmail.com and send me your questions, and I will fit them in there. You can do it. Yeah, so yes, we will do that. All right, guys. Well, I believe that's all I have for you this fine evening. Yeah, Keystone Channel. That sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited that I can start interviewing people there. I have such a long list. I've literally done one interview in the entire year that my channel has been up. That's really pathetic, but this is going to be pretty big. If you guys ever have any recommendations of people that you want to see me interview, obviously pass that my way. I would love to see that.
And make sure you're following me on Twitter, Kate_Awakening. Same thing on Instagram. What else am I supposed to say? Make sure you subscribe, like this video. What other jobs can I give you? Hit the notification bell, even though mine is purely decorative. And have a great week. I will see you on Twitter until I see you next week, next Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific. Goodbye, guys. Love y'all. Oh, and thank you to my moderators. I always forget until after. As soon as I hit it, I'm always like, duh, moderators. You guys do such a killer job, and I really, really appreciate every single one of you. So thank you very much.